Hi guys, I just thought I'd show you a quick pair of earrings and a necklace using some of these leftover beads. So I'm going to use one each for the earrings, and I've got 3 here to make a little pendant with. What I've done is I've just taped them down to my desk, and I'm going to get my sharp blade and I'm just going to trim them off. I've put my tape so I know it's kind of in the middle. And I'm just going to trim these beads off at an angle, which is a bit hard to do while I'm filming, but I'm sure I'll manage there. So I'm just taking these beads and I'm just matching each side and trimming them off at an angle. Bear with me because it's really hard to judge this while I've got everything under the camera. Obviously you take your time guys, you're not having to do it under a camera like I am. Oh, and all these little beads, you could save them. I forgot what they're called, those little tiny, are they called quiche beads or quiche beads? Little tiny slithers. Save all your slithers. Might come in handy for spacers or something. Okay, so I've got 3 beads here. Oh, that one's flipped. Turn over. I've got 3 beads here that I'm going to use for a pendant, and I've got 3. That's not right, is it? Let's turn you around. There we go. It's still not right. I don't know what I've done. One of them's flipped, hasn't it? Ah, that's it. Sorry, they just turned, so they weren't right. Okay, so I've got three there that I've just cut off on a diagonal. And I've got 2 here that I'm going to do for earrings. So we've got these beads that we need, or you know, you could do these with other beads guys. You don't have to use these sort of beads, just an idea. I've got some 1mm plated, silver plated copper wire, and I've got some oh, this is probably a 0.4 or 0.6 silver plated silver wire. I've got some ear wires. Again, use whatever you wish. I'll just grab a couple of these out. I'm going to use these little silver plated fish hook style ones, and we're going to need some sort of bail, but I'll dig one out shortly when we've done what we're doing with these. I just need to get them beads the right way around. That's it. Okay, just leave them there, then I don't nudge them. Right, so that's all you need. A couple of ear wires, some 1mm or similar wire, some 0.4 and 0.6 for doing a bit of wrapping, and a few beads and a bail. I'll go and dig a bail out, and then we'll come back and we'll just make these really simple earrings and pendants. See you in a minute. Okay guys, I've just put my mat here so you're more able to see on the camera. So I've got a couple of pieces of the 1mm wire here, and mine are about 5 inches long. That's more than enough. And what we're going to do is, let me just make sure that these are reasonably straight. I'll just get them warm with my fingers. Give them a little bend. It's this one that's the wonky bit. Try again. That's better, I think. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, still not that straight, bear with me guys, just want to get it a little bit less banana like. There, that's better. Okay, so our beads are just under 1 inch. So what we're going to do is pop one of the wires through our bead to about the middle point, and then no, I won't use those pliers. I'll use using my thin nose pliers. I'm just going to hold that there and bend it up like so. Then I'm going to hold that there and bend it up like so. I'm doing it this way so I know that it's exactly the same on each bead. So we've got that, and I'll just do it with this one. So if I hold it, get it in the middle a bit better, hold it against the edge of my bead and just bend up and push my bead to the end of the wire, hold the wire and bend it up. Just make sure that they're both perfectly even then, guys. And then we're just going to get these wires to cross like so, so that they're in the middle, and I just hold them edges and push in. And you can tweak these just to make sure that they're the same length, etc. Like so, they're pretty even. In fact, I'm going to bring that in a little bit closer. Bring that one in a little bit closer. Okay, now where these two wires cross, I want you to get your pliers and point it up. Get your pliers and point it up so that they come together like that. And again, guys, you can get a ruler out if you so wish to do that. I generally just put one on top of the other and grab it in the same spot. So I'll just push that one up and then do the same with that one. And again, you can tweak them just to bring that point together. Mine are a little bit off, won't really matter much. Okay, so we've got this thing going on. Just going to tweak this one because it's not quite right. Okay, that's better. Now, if you've got a shorter end, or just pick an end, we're going to put a loop on. So you're going to need your looping pliers and your snips, and I would say about 1/2 centimetre. Just snip that off. And again, you can put them next to each other if you're concerned, and make sure that they're both the same length. Snip that off. We're going to put a loop on this, and we can tweak it again later, but I'm going to loop this way. Oh, gonna loop this way. Now it's a bit harder with this thicker wire, so bear with it, guys. So we've just got a nice loop. We're going to do the same on this one. And get my hand the right way around. So we've got a nice loop, and I'll just get my flat pliers and give that a straighten. Make sure it's okay. There we go. Same with this one, just grab my pliers, make sure everything's nice and straight. Now what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this one around that just once or twice. Now it is hard, guys, because of the nature of the wire. I can push mine with my fingers. And that's all we're going to do. We're going to snip it off at the back. Same with this one, just balance that wire on your fingers, bring it around, and then just give it a wrap like so. Then we're just going to snip this off at the back. So there we go, that's how easy those earrings are. And of course guys, you take your time, tweak them a bit if you need to. I'm just going to get my pliers in and make sure that that back one is tucked in, then there's no sharp edges. Same with this one, just make sure that that's tucked in so there's no sharp edges. Okay, so that's our earrings. That's as simple as they are. Again, you could play about with them, get them a bit neater, get them a bit, you know, however you want them. And then let's have a see. Now we could, I think I'll twist my loop so that the end is at the back. Let's get it a bit straighter, like so. You see what I did? I just grabbed the whole of the loop and twisted it to the back. And again, just make sure everything's nice and straight. That one's a bit wonky, but it'll do for the purposes of showing you. Okay, so we're going to put a jump ring on and fasten our earring wires to it. If we can get the lid off this, I'll just get a couple of jump rings out. Twist your jump ring open, pop your earring on, make sure your wires go in the right way to do it, which is, that's the way I want it. And I just give that a little squeeze, make sure it's okay, and ta-da, we've got one earring. Let's do the other one. Oh, I'm just squeezing the jump ring to make sure that it closes before I open it, if that makes sense. I'll just give that an open. Oh, I've not left myself enough space. Hook that in, hook our ear wire on. Close our jump ring. Again, I like to give it a little squidge, make sure it's closed. And then we've got two really simple earrings. And we're going to basically do the same, guys, for the pendant. I haven't got any, I'll pull some wire off and get it, make sure it's straight. But we're basically going to do the same with the bottom. But then we're just going to wrap the other two to the side to make a bit of a bigger pendant. I'll just go and get some wire ready. I'll be back in a sec. Okay guys, oh, let me just move them out of the way. I've got about 10 inches of the 1mm here, and I've just cut off a couple of pieces of the 4mm, 0.4 or 0.6, whatever you've got. You just need enough of this thin stuff to pass through your bead and do a couple of wraps around this, so you don't need a great deal. So again, as we did with the earrings, pop that somewhere in the middle Where's my other pliers? I've put them down there. They are. Just gonna hold the wire next to the bead and push that up. I'm going to push the bead against the wire, put my pliers in there and push that up. So there's our bottom bead. And again, try and get your wire a bit straighter than mine. Oh, I stabbed myself. And we just want these to sit in here nicely spaced. So I'm not going to squidge them together just yet. I'm going to thread my next little bead. In fact, you could wire wrap first, guys, just to get it going. I'm just going to hold that there and I'm going to wrap this maybe 4 times, 2, 3. Sorry, I know you can't see what I'm doing because of my thumb. I'll shift it in a sec. There, I've done 4 wraps there. I'll just push them together, snip that back piece, oops, snip that back piece off. I won't tighten it yet till I've got my bead on. Then I'm going to slide my bead on this wire. And then I've just got to decide where I want it. Maybe about there. So I'm just going to pull that tight, pull that with my finger while I hold that tight and get this to wrap. Oh, I've got a kink. Get out. Let's pull that down a bit. That should do it nicely. So that's locked it in, and then I'll just wrap this. 3 and 4. Take that to the back and we can position this then wherever we so wish. Okay, I'm just going to take that to the back, snip that bit of wire off, make sure I've got my bead where I want it, and then just using my pliers I'm going to smooth that little piece where I snipped it in to the wire, then there's no sticky out bits. I'm just going to give it a press, and then the same on this side, just smooth that sticking out wire in so it's tucked in nicely. Let's just have a look. I'm happy with where that's sat, so I'll just give that a pinch so that it sneaks onto the wire. And you've got a bit of movement now with the beads moving, and then we've just got to do our last one. So same again, I'll start wrapping. That's my front, just using that end and pinching them. I'll just wrap this 1, 2, 3, 4, push them coils together nicely, make sure that's at, is that the back or the front? Oh, I think I did it on the wrong side, but it doesn't matter, guys. I'll just make sure that that wire's snipped off at the back. Just try and keep it as flush as I can. snip that off. Ooh. Thread my bead on, making sure it's the right way. And then I'm just gonna pull that a bit tighter, get that first wrap pulled tight, and then I can do the rest of my wraps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I didn't do that very well, did I? There we go. Push that coil together, just pull that one a bit tighter. Make sure they're even. Snip that bit of wire off. Just straighten that up a little bit. I'm just doing it by eye, guys. Of course you could measure it if you so wished. I'm just going to get that end to tuck if I can. Got it. Go on. Can't get my pliers in. And I'm just going to squeeze that to the wire. And then this side again. I think that wire's really well tucked in already, so I'll just give that a little squeeze, and we've just got a simple little pendant with a bit of movement on it, guys. And my bead holes must be a little bit off center, so my beads are twizzing round a bit. I could put a spot of glue in, I suppose, and stop them spinning, which I might do, but this is just a thing to show you something you can make with your pendants. So again, got those two together. I'm just going to do this with my fingers, guys, while I've got hold of it. I'm just bending them two so that I know where my point is. I'm going to snip this off a little bit longer this time, maybe 1 centimetre, because I'm just going to wrap a little bit more of this other wire around. Let me just get my pliers the right way around. I'm going to make a nice loop like so for my whatever they're called, jump ring, and then I'm just going to wrap a couple of times this time, guys, just because it's the pendant. I want it to look a bit more substantial, and double check what's my back and what's my front. That's my front, so I'll snip this off at the back. Let me just get the wire a bit more taut. Snip that off. Smooth that bit of wire in, and now we can adjust it a bit while it's in our hands. Let's get this twisted around to the back. That's straight-ish. My beads are sliding a bit, but that's okay. I can tighten them up a bit later. You get the idea anyway, don't you? So that's just a quick little wire pendant. You could use any beads in that, guys, couldn't you? You know, it doesn't matter what beads you've got. use whatever you've got. A little pendant there, and I did dig just this little bail out. It's just a simple little bail. I might need a bigger jump ring, or a couple of jump rings to be fair. Let's open this up. Now I think, nope, that's right, so I can pop that on there. I didn't know if I'd need to do a couple of jump rings with the way the bail was facing. Close my jump ring. Oh, can't hold it. Give it a little squeeze. And there we go, a really simple pendant idea. Let me turn them beads around. So you could use whatever beads you had, guys, to do this, because I've just used up some of those that I made. And a couple of little matching earrings. Dead simple. Nice bit of movement in them all. I may, well, to be fair, I'll probably redo this, guys, and I'll maybe just pop a little spot of super glue to stop them spinning, so that they'll stay in that position, or maybe undo it and use some better wire. This wire's a bit thin, I think, but there you go, guys. Really simple idea to just use those beads up. I'll take some nice 40s, and I'll see you all in the next video. See you later, guys. Bye.